Jaden, week before the U.S. Open. How do you feel?
I feel like I'm supposed to be getting ready for it. I'm usually wrestling these, but no, I'm excited. You know, the guys have put in the work. I'm excited to go into it. It's this new role. I've actually put a pause on a lot of other things like camps, as people ask me to do camps and everything, and I'm like putting a pause because it's my first time going through the process of actually making these teams as far as U17 and so on, and U20 being wrestled. So it's a new process for me, another aspect of this job that I get to learn. Um, and I'm excited to watch what these guys got. You know, obviously there's goals that I have in mind as well for these teams to go accomplish, and so for them to be in the fight of what they're trying to accomplish, I'm ready for it. So let's go see what's going to happen.
You know, obviously we last talked to you really, you know, around I would say EAP show, and that before that like really got up. I mean, what's your thought process about looking back at that and going through that whole process and seeing it unfold, and now seeing the guys mature up until the Open? You know.
Well, watching that, you know, with a lot of the guys, it's almost they're unrecognizable. You know, because that was towards the beginning / mid of our journey. And so just seeing how they've grown, not only as wrestlers, but as men, as individuals who are about to move on to the next stage of their lives, and the way that they prepare, the professionalism that they have a little bit more with this sport and the different aspects of it. You know, it is like I'm looking at people differently. I'm looking at them differently. I see them differently. I've seen the growth, and I know that they've seen it and they feel it. And it's got to the point, because I remember through the journey, there were points that I had to remind them or show them the growth, or tell them like, hey, this is what you're getting better. This is what it is. And now it's just like there's a knowing, right? And I think they're at that point where it's like, I know how good I am. I know the work I've put in. I know the sacrifices I made, and I know what I'm shooting for, and I know what I'm willing to give to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So I think that is awesome to see. It's like they went from, you know, kids who were questioning themselves to men who are certain of who they were, and I'm extremely proud of that. Even before the U.S. Open, no matter what happens, I'm excited for the future.
You know, obviously, you know, with all your athletes, I mean, let's talk about them specifically. I mean, Colin Raff, we'll start with him. I mean, he's got a loaded weight class, right? I mean, how excited is he getting into that weight class?
He's pumped. You know, I think the biggest thing for him is just to not get in his own head and stay focused. But he's grown so much, and he was a guy too that, you know, coming in, it wasn't like he was an unknown name. You know, he was a guy that was known. He had accomplishments, and he's already, you know, as I said, been recruited and going to Mizzou. But now, you know, for me, for what I've seen, he's on another level. As long as he keeps his mind about him, right? As long as he's cuts loose a little bit more out there on the mat and just lets it fly. Because when he wrestles, he is a tough guy to stay with. When he just lets it go, he's a tough guy to stay with. So I'm excited to see what he has to show. And also, I think the bigger the competition is, the more he tends to shine, the more he tends to show up. He can win any kind of match, close, dominant, whatever. But he can do it all. So it's time for him to, you know, show up on the lights and put it all out there.
You know, and you got some other athletes too, like Rylan and Dale. I mean, talk about so many other athletes that you're ready to see scrap at the U.S.
For sure. So, I mean, to each of them, you know, Rylan has definitely been a project to work with, right? But he's made huge improvements. And I think with him, it's kind of like what I was talking about before, where it's like there was like almost a level of doubt. And then it was just like, hey, you are this good. Like, you were meant to be here, right? And just the improvements that he's made and getting to wrestle with him, because, you know, he's a bigger guy, so I get to wrestle him each and every day and work on his technique. And it's actually almost a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but it's more comparable to coach him because our bodies are similar as far as size goes. So being able to help him, and even his style is even a little bit comparable to mine. Not necessarily with movement, but more so with just the technique he wants to hit. So it's a lot easier for me to coach him up and be like, all right, this is what you want to feel and stuff like that. And the improvements he's made, honestly, throughout the year, but also just in this short span of time in the last month, has been immense. And so I'm really excited for him. And he's always shown up. Like, I didn't know what to expect going into like opens and stuff like that, but he has always shown up and wrestled balls to the wall and just gone after it. And then Oblia is somebody that's like kind of on the same road as Colin. We have a kind of a routine, like, don't think, just go. once if he's just flowing and letting it fly, he is a tough guy to compete against. But sometimes he kind of gets in his own head and pauses. So we kind of have a routine, just like before every match. We'll slap hands. I tell him, hey, you don't think, you just go. I'll do the thinking, right? I'll tell you if something needs to adjust, and then you listen, and then you go and do it again, right? And he's been someone that's, when we talk about that growth, like that is someone I can definitely see it in. He is a different man. And in fact, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but his father did call me, and he visited home, and he was like, my son is a different man. My son has grown. I can tell that he's confident and he's growing and he's strong and has belief in himself, and that's something that was missing from him from before. And so that was an awesome interaction to have a parent of a kid that was in here, witness that, see that, and overall it was their efforts that made it happen. But I'm glad to have been a part of that journey, and we're not done yet. We got more to do.
And finally, any final words heading into the U.S. Open?
You know what? To everyone that's about to compete in it, wrestle your heart out. Don't worry about nothing else but the person in front of you. I'm excited to watch, man. I'm excited to see this from a different lens. For so long I've watched this event as an athlete, but now to get to see it as a coach, and have this role, I'm excited for what it's going to bring. And good luck to you guys, and see you in Vegas.